Good morning, students. How are we doing today? A nice wet Friday by the looks of things, so not a whole lot to do outside. For the first graders, what you're going to get today when your parents go to pick up stuff at school is a bag that looks like this with your project in it. What you will find is a sanding block. You will have 4 pieces of wood like this, and there's 2 of one size and 2 of another size, and where they go on your bird feeder, we'll get into that later. You will also have 2 blocks like this, all right? They're 2 inches by 5 inches. You'll have 1 piece like this, all right, the smaller piece, and then a larger piece, all right? So what you need to do over the next week is take your sanding block and you grab it like this, 4 fingers on one side, thumb on the other. See the grain of your wood, and you want to pick the side that has the best grain, where it's the smoothest already, and then you just want to sand in the direction of the grain, all right? And you keep doing that until you get it nice and smooth. When you get done with that piece, you can go on to the bigger piece. Again, pick the side that looks the best and just sand with the grain until you get it nice and smooth. Now parents, dads, moms, if you have a random orbital sander, don't jump in there and grab that and do it for them. I want the kids to do this. This is for them. I know it'd be so much easier for us to just go ahead and do it for our kids, but let the kids do this. They'll get more enjoyment out of it. It might take them a little bit, but they'll really enjoy it, and it'll mean more to them when they get done with the whole project. All right? Inside your bag, you will also have some screws that look like this. Okay? They're a Phillips head screw. And then a whole bunch of little bitty nails like this, if I can hold on to it. All right? Just little gold nails, okay? So you're going to work on that this week, sanding those boards and getting them nice and smooth. And then we'll work on trying to put an edge on the pieces that need an edge and where the other pieces go on it. So let's get it all nice and smooth, and then we'll go from there over the next couple of weeks. So I figure if you get done with these 2 boards, getting them nice and smooth, then if you want to take your sanding block and sand these pieces, you can sand all 4 sides of this and get it nice and smooth, okay? And then this one here, you can do the same thing on these. You can sand one side and you can sand the other side, okay? And you can get them nice and smooth. And then we'll start working on putting it together as the next couple weeks go on. Now, the ones at school, we're going to actually run a router around the edge of the top to get a real nice end on it. But I'll show you what you can do to make a nice end on yours at home. Now, the only holes, these 4 pieces like this will have holes drilled in them for the nails to be hammered into. So you'll need to keep track of your little nails. This top piece, I don't have any holes drilled in it for the screws that got to go into it. So hopefully mom and dad can do that. And same with the bottom one. So as we go on, you'll get to do more. And maybe mom and dad can help you with the drill. They'll maybe drill the holes for you. But that way you can do it. And you can put the screws in and screw them in. And that'll help build your whole bird feeder. And we'll go from there. 6th graders. By now you should have all your supports cut out. Look like that now. You have 4 of them. They should be identical. So you should have 4 of your table supports, your tabletop supports, that look like this. All right? Now, you also should have cut or drawn your top piece. These are your legs. All right? You had 4 of them that went on the board. I just cut the board in half so you can see what it looked like this. with that. And then I cut the other half. I cut the two pieces out, the two legs, and you're going to have 4 of these. But these two are already cut. Got the angles on them, and they're the same length. All right, these would be my legs for our table. Now, our tabletop, you had that wide board that we glued together. Well, you're going to mark off, make sure your ends are square. So you want to square up your ends. So maybe Dad can help you with this if you don't have a square. But you want to square it up so it's nice and square like this. So you want to make sure your ends are square. All right, just like that, so it's nice and square. And then measure from the end down 18 inches and make a line. And do the same thing from the other end, making sure it's square, up 18 inches, and draw a line. And then you're going to cut across that line, and that'll make your 2 tabletops that will end up being mounted on your supports. This, remember, this is the piece that got cut off your tabletop now. It was glued onto here. When we glued it together, we cut this off. Because you're going to have to cut this across. And if you did your templates, like I asked you to, you lay your tabletop template down there, you draw around it, and then you have where your tabletop is. And this is the piece that's going to get cut off the end of it. That'll be extra. And what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line 13 3/4 from the end, making sure it's square. Now I got lines on here because I'm going to square this up later. But 13 3/4 inches long there, and the same thing on this side here. And with that is going to be our leg supports that go across the legs to keep them from bowing out and that. So we'll be putting all that together. We will eventually drill holes in these 1/2-inch holes that will have a dowel rod, and the dowel rods will be coming home later on that you put in to the holes, and we'll cut the dowel rods to certain lengths, and they'll get tapped into the holes as we put the table together. And we're going to be routing some ends and smoothing out the tabletop. For you kids at home, I don't have sanding blocks to send home to you, so you're going to have to sand this table, and hopefully you got it put together, these pieces put together fairly smooth. And if you're lucky enough to have a dad that has a planer, he can run this through the planer and true it up for you, and then you can just sand it by hand. But that's what we're going to be doing this week. So getting all these pieces cut out and ready to go, and then next week we'll look at drilling the holes, and we'll start putting it together over the next couple of weeks, a little at a time, that we can get it finished up by the end of the quarter. So until then, have fun, enjoy your time woodworking. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm going to be doing here in the shop. I'm going to actually finish up my table and get it ready to start putting it together, show you how things go. And I'll be drilling some holes, and maybe next week I'll actually show you how I'm drilling the holes in the legs so you can see that. And then we'll have it all, and then we'll worry about rounding off the ends of the supports and that so they look nice and they work a lot nicer. And we'll do all of that. Until then, have a great week. Enjoy woodworking. Talk to you then.